Downsizing, Diva, and I'm here to stay. Feeling good, taking my GLP one next. One whole year, wiped away my fears. Done 60 pounds, but that's no all. I kept on going even through the storms. My A1C went down. I still have work to do. Just when you thought I was done, my high blood pressure went down too. Feeling good, taking my diabetes, weigh one less. I have a great story to tell. I'm on the road to lose 100 pounds. Can I do it in 2025? Yes, I can. Downsizing, Diva, and I'm here to stay. Feeling good, taking my GLP one day.
Hello, and welcome. I hope you guys can hear me. I am in my office and I am super cold. I am cold, but I have on this hat for a different reason. I'm going to explain at the end. Of this live. So, hello, who do we have in the chat? We have my girl Taisha. Hi, Simply Taisha. She says, hey, DD and Divalicious family. We have Lakeisha in the chat. We have Z. We have Linda's journey. Linda, it's good to see you back. I missed you. All right, so tonight it is Wednesday night. I cannot believe it's Wednesday already. That means tomorrow's Thursday, and then we have Friday. I feel like this hat is like a little crooked or something's not right with it. But so I like to talk about educational type things on Wednesday nights because it's health and wellness, right? Wellness Wednesday. And I kind of will get into some of that, but I had a topic I'm going to dive into, do a deep dive into it next Wednesday. This Wednesday, I just kind of I was reflecting on my journey. This month marked 1 year and 1 month. And so it just kind of got me thinking about, all the things I wish I knew when I first started on my journey. And so I thought, instead of making a video about it, I'm going to talk about it live. So that's what I wanted to do tonight. And if you guys can help with any newbies, so if we have any newbies out there that stumble across this video, the goal is to help them. I will say, I am just excited to be, on this platform talking about all things related to, health and wellness and taking a GLP-1. And I just recently had someone tell me, based on our other live, we had a live, I want to say it was maybe a month ago. It might not have been that long ago. You guys probably remember better than me. But we talked about getting a colonoscopy and how important that was. And I don't know I can't remember what exactly our topic was, but some kind of way we got into talking about colonoscopies. And we encouraged 2 people to get a colonoscopy. And one of the people that said she was kind of on the fence, she was going to schedule it. Well, guess what? She scheduled it, and she should have had her colonoscopy yesterday. So I'm so excited about that. I have not heard from her. I'm going to check on her and see if she got a clean bill of health. But she said, you guys pushed me into doing it. And I said, I'm glad we did. So we could be possibly saving lives on these, on these channels, on our lives and in our videos. So I'm excited about that. I'm so excited about that. And then we also had someone tell me that they were going to get a mammogram based on, getting checked out for perimenopause symptoms. And, they had never gotten a mammogram before. And so, we really want to encourage that. So my topic next week is going to really be diving into some tough topics here. But, if we can encourage one person to go to a doctor who wasn't planning on doing it, I love that. So that makes me excited. So you guys are going to be able to help me out. I'm going to go through this and then we're going to go in the chat. I see Z. Hi, Z. She came in. Mel to the B. I see Mel. I see Lynn. Hi, Lynn. Lynn T. I love that name, Lynn. Healthy Spirit Podcast. Tia. Oh, my goodness. Tia, I saw you today. Or was that yesterday? I was on Instagram and she was flexing those muscles. And I said, look at my girl, Tia. She looks good. So, Tia, it's good to see you on here. And oh, Simply Taisha says, I'm on HRT thanks to the live about perimenopause. Well, I love that. I love that. That's also, I forgot to mention that. That's also, a situation that was life changing for you, I'm sure. We talked about perimenopause on here, and you went and got checked out. And actually, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that as we come up. So, really, we're all taking a GLP-1 med, and I know, a lot of the focus is weight loss. For me, the focus is also, my A1C and being a type 2 diabetic and hopefully reversing that. I think it's, I'm pretty sure it's getting close to being reversed, if not reversed. So that makes me excited. But there are so many issues for women in health and wellness. And, somebody has to bring attention to it and somebody has to talk about it. And why not me? And why not us? Right? We're going to talk about it. So I'm excited. We have a new member. Hey, Lindsay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right. So let's get started. So I'm going to just go through these things. I want you guys in the chat to chime in, and then I'm going to go through the chat. And after I go through a couple, I'll go through the chat a little bit. But before I get started, I just want to share with you guys, people have been following my journey. You guys know, where I've come from. I'm going to share with you just some pics. So I love this pic. This pic, I found this pic. This is actually on my thumbnail. And as you guys know, I'm down 63 pounds. I was 62.6, and I've just been getting on the scale a little bit more. And because I changed my eating plan, so I'm kind of tracking that. So I found this picture though in my phone. Look at that picture with the hat on. Look at that chunky face, oh my goodness. And then look at, there's such a difference. Can you see that difference? I just love that. I love that. So that was before my Mounjaro journey, and then this is after. I don't know if you guys can hear. So I don't know if you guys could hear me while I was showing that picture. Let me go back to that picture. No, it's not showing. Okay. I don't think you can see me and the pic. I don't think you can see me and the pic at the same time. But that is my picture. That is my picture. And I am so excited that my face has slimmed down, and 63 pounds is nothing to sneeze at. So I'm pretty excited about that. But that's where I started. And, I thought, geez, Louise, I started at 306.4. I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. Don't tell anybody. 306.4. And now what am I? What is my current weight? Let's look at my current weight here. I'm going to add it to the stage. I am 243.8. Well, actually, I'm a little bit less than that because I got on this. Like I said, I've been getting on the scale. So I'm officially 63 pounds down. I'm so excited about that. And I don't take body shots at all. So I have these rare ones. So here's me with the striped pants on. And then I took this one around Thanksgiving. I usually wear kind of like baggy clothes. And so I thought I'm going to put on something that's a little bit fitting. And so that's what that was. And then this is my recent pic when I made that little music video, my daughter and I had on that blazer, the blinged out blazer that was a size 16. I was so excited to even be able to get into that. So that is what my weight is looking like. And you know what? This is the best thing about it all is I have lost 20%, a little bit over 20% of my body weight. So I am excited. My goal is to get down to, lose 100 pounds. I gave myself to July. And I thought, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Somebody remind me again why I did that. I gave myself to July, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And if not, you know what I always say? I'm going to give myself grace. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. But I'm going to try to get as close as I can to that 100 pounds by my birthday. And my birthday is in July. And I'll be 53. So I'm 53. My A1C, I want to say the last time I went to the doctor, my A1C was at a 5.9. So it's come a long way. It started off as a 7.6. And then, my blood pressure was up there. My highest reading was in the 150s. When I had been going to the doctor leading up to my Mounjaro journey, it was hovering in the 140s. I was lucky if it was 138 over 90. And so now my blood pressure is normal, and it's as normal as can be. I don't want to say the last time I went, I want to say it was like 107. I can't remember exactly. But I remember when I got that perfect 120/80 over 80 reading in November. And my doctor said, "Do you want to do a dance?" And I said, "Can you make some room?" So I could do my jig because I was so excited about it. So a lot of things are happening. A lot of things are happening that's very good, not just the weight loss, because I know, I say we focus on that. But these are some things I wish I knew. And, I wonder if you guys could help me out in that comment section. What are some of the things you wish you knew before you started on your GLP-1 journey or any weight loss journey? It doesn't even have to be a GLP-1. So the first thing I thought about is appetite suppression. The appetite suppression is still real, but you still need to eat. You still need to eat. And when I first started taking, Mounjaro, I didn't really get the marching orders of how to eat and what I should eat and why I should eat it. And, I didn't get, a list of foods I should eat or not eat. I didn't get the best diet to be on when you're taking a GLP-1. So I didn't get any of that. Everything I'm kind of doing, I figured out on my own. And when I first started, I thought, okay, I don't really feel hungry, so I'm not going to eat. And then I quickly realized that that wasn't the best thing to do because I remember, teaching my students, right? Teaching my students and just learning that, it's going to mess up my metabolism if I don't eat. And then something told me to put my calories in because I've always used my Fitness Pal over the years. And I put what I had eaten this one day in my Fitness Pal app, and it amounted to nothing at all. And I thought, there is no way. So I figured out by using the TDEE calculator that I needed to be eating for my weight at that time. It was 1,800 calories. And when you see the food labels and stuff, they always have like an average of 2,000. Everything is based on consuming 2,000 calories. And I thought, this is so close to 2,000. I'm not going to lose anything. So I did not want to do that, but something told me to do it. I just thought, okay, I got to start somewhere. And so I started, monitoring those 1,800 calories. And, once I got an idea of what I should be eating, I didn't really need to track it every day. I just start eating the same things every week. So I knew what made an 1,800 calorie day. And I just repeated it. I call it rinse and repeat, like I do with everything I do as a routine, rinse and repeat. And my weight loss was kind of slow, but I was satisfied and I was eating. And sometimes I would have to, that's when I started developing those love for protein bars because I would have to eat a protein bar to kind of get all my calories in and drink a shake. So even though, I may not have had it planned, I couldn't eat all of the meal. I got so full and I didn't want to do that. And one of the things I did early on was I cut off my eating at 7:30. And, I was talking to the weight loss coach and he said, well, why did you do that? Because you realize it's calories in and calories out. And I said, for me, it helps me wake up lighter, because I'm not going to bed on like a full belly. And so when I'm cutting that eating off, sometimes I've even cut it off at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I just feel lighter when I'm going to bed. I've never had acid reflux. I know people have that. I've never had heartburn. And I think it's because, as a rule, I don't really lay down and eat, eat and then lay down. But because I was going to bed so late, I was still eating late, right? So now I cut off my eating early. And so that really is kind of forcing me to go to bed because, you can start, that's one of the reasons why I think people, tend to eat at night because you're just up. What else is there to do? You're watching TV, you might want to snack. And so, I just think tracking those calories have been key for me and it's helped. So I wish somebody would have told me early on though, that you still needed to eat on these medications. And I want to say there was a lady, and I love this lady, and she was following me even when I was just, audio. And one of the things she told me, because I talked about in one of my videos, how, I was basically eating these calories. I could go without eating them, but I was eating them. And she said, let the medication work. Do not eat. And I'm actually glad I did not follow that advice because I feel like if I stand any chance on coming off the medication or going to the lowest possible dose, I'm going to have to, know what it's like to, maneuver by eating when I don't have that medication that's suppressing my appetite 110%, if that makes any sense to you. So anyway, that's one of the things I learned. The second thing I learned is that side effects can be very unpredictable, right? I just didn't know what to expect with those side effects. It's funny because I went out and bought everything. I was watching that Countess of Shopping. I'm gonna give her a shout out. Countess of Shopping. I was watching her, and when I tell you she ran it down like a list of every, I feel like every time I was watching her, she was telling people what they should eat, how they should eat it, what they should buy, what happens with side effects, what's the best thing. And one of the things that she talked about was, um, element helping with being fatigued. And so I purchased some element and I still, use element. I actually like it. I take it. I wasn't drinking it every day. And then I went from every day to 3 times a week. And then I went from 3 times a week to just drinking it on the day of my injection. And that's because I didn't want all that extra salt. I think that was kind of holding me back early on in my journey. But that counted. She was telling us what we should do, right? What we should try and things we should experiment. And so one of the things I also liked was Mago 7. And I don't know if I heard that from Countess or not. I can't remember who I heard that from, but that Mago 7 works for me. It really truly does. It works for me. Within 12 hours, I'm going to the restroom. And so what's better than Mago 7 for me is this plant-based whole foods diet for the most part that I'm eating. When I tell you I have been so regular since I switched my diet, it's great. So I haven't even needed the Mago 7. Another thing I was doing was taking Colace, and that just softens my stool. And someone told me like magnesium can also soften your stool. So that has not been my experience. So we know everything works different for everyone. And I do take a multivitamin supplement. And that just has not softened nothing has softened my stool like this Colace has done. So that has made it a little bit easier to manage. But I did have this one side effect. One day I think I was with some colleagues, and I don't know if we went out for Mexican. This was early on in my GLP-1 journey, and I ate it, and I thought I am fine. I did not get sick. I didn't get nauseated. Nothing happened. Right? I had no nausea. I don't know if nauseated is a word, but I didn't have nausea. And so something told me like I wanted a little ice cream treat from Dairy Queen. So I used to get like those blizzards, like the toffee blizzard. And my daughter wasn't with me. So I thought, okay, I'm going to enjoy a treat. And so I stopped and went to Dairy Queen and bought this little treat, the junior, so the small one. When I tell you, before I got home, I could not make it to the bathroom quick enough. So it was the opposite effect. I was not sick, but I was going to the restroom from out the other end. I was going. It just seemed like it was just going on forever and ever and ever. So that taught me a lesson, right? The greasy food on top of that sugary dairy, that was in that blizzard, that was not the right thing for me to do. And I really haven't had side effects other than that. Pretty much, that was unpredictable, but that one. But I get fatigue. I don't know if that's because I'm, going through perimenopausal symptoms. I get very tired. Tonight is my injection night. I'm going to be super tired once I take that. It just always happens that way. I get fatigued. But I really have been blessed. I haven't really had those symptoms. And I think it's because, that people complain about where they can't eat. They're so sick. I really haven't had the appetite suppression to the point where I just can't eat, where I'm stuffed. I can't just take another bite. And so I really consider myself blessed that I have not had that, right? So that's good. But the side effects can be unpredictable. And I went out and bought like Pepto-Bismol. I bought Tums. I bought, what else did I buy? I think I might have bought like some fiber gummies. I bought probably like 5 or 6 products, thinking that I was going to need all these things. And I wish I had not done that. Most of those things are close to being expired. I haven't opened the Tums. I think I used that Pepto-Bismol the one time, but I could have bought a small bottle. I bought a big bottle of it. I think I used that one time, the time I had the diarrhea. A little effect there going on. But most of those things I haven't really needed to use. And so I wish I would have just waited, but I was just calling myself being super prepared. And so, you could go out and do that and buy all those things. I'm just saying you may or may not need it. It just depends on, how you're eating, what your eating habits look like. And if you're really eating whole foods and cutting out that oil, which is the fried foods and those sorts of things, I think, a lot of people I talk to who aren't eating those aren't really having those severe side effects like that. So, but everybody is different. So that brings me to number 3. Number 3 is weight loss is not linear. So that means that it's not going to be a straight line. No success is, right? Have you guys ever seen that graphic of success where it's up and down and up and down, and people who are successful, it's never a straight line. And people who I know who like had an overnight sensation or had their 15 minutes of fame kind of wish they didn't have that, right? They kind of wish that they would have just gone kind of slow and steady and not just shot right up there, because you're really not as prepared as you might think you are. And so for me, my weight loss has been slow and steady, and I've had to rely on other things because there are times when that scale just was not dropping. And so one of the things I have done, and I haven't talked a lot about this in my videos, but it is yet to come. I measured myself. At the beginning, I took a measurement of everything. I kept a journal. I was so tedious and just I kept track of everything I was doing. And then when I became a content creator in June, and I call myself like really going to keep even better records over the summer because I'm on vacation, from my job. And so I thought I'm going to keep all these records. I'm going to, just have it all laid out. And then when I decided to start making videos, I kind of fell to the wayside. But I do have all those great measurements from the beginning. Now, in hindsight, I wish I would have kept that going. If you don't weigh yourself or measure your I know some people are weighing every day and taking their weight once a week, which is kind of what I do. Here lately, I've been getting on the scale more, but I think taking those measurements is key. If you don't do it every week, I would at least do it once a month, because that's going to give you a great gauge. That's going to really make you feel good when the scale does not. Right? Because you could have lost a half an inch or an inch. You might, and then that, when I see those numbers go down, when I used to see, measure myself and saw the measurements where, I was a half an inch down, an inch down, that would prompt me to try things on in my closet. And of course they would be smaller, and that would make me feel great. So I would do that. If you are a newbie out there and you catch this video and you're watching it, I would definitely start taking measurements. Now, if you didn't start day 1, that's okay. What if you're at day 30? What if you're at 2 months in? What if you're at 4 months in? Still starts. You have to start somewhere. So I would still take those measurements once a week, take those measurements once a month, because that is really what is going to motivate you, like I said, and get you on track when that scale lets you down. Like, that scale is not your best friend, trust me. And the scale is good. Some people can handle measuring themselves every day and adjusting accordingly. I, for one, am not one of those people. So having something else to measure my success is great for me. It's great for me, right? So I think that was what number was that? That was number 3. So number 4 is something that I wasn't the best at either, is taking lots of pictures, even when you don't want to. I mean, I never like to take a body shot. I even talked about this in one of my videos, and I remember tearing up about it because I just thought, my daughter is one day, going to look and say, Mom, where was your body at in all our photos? Because I was really only taking selfies. And even now, I have to kind of force myself to take a whole body pic. Even now, I don't want to. And so, I just have to get better at taking those whole body pictures. And my daughter is my photographer, by the way. She is my photographer. So, sometimes she'll say, Mom, let's take a picture. Mom, let's take a picture. And I appreciate that, because left up to my devices, I won't do it. Now, I'm very good at selfies, but not the best at taking whole body shots. So I would say take those pictures. It's just just a great before and after. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to show you. Let me see if I can get the pictures up here. I don't know. These pictures don't really want to come on here. I think I have them in the wrong spot. But I'm going to show you. Here's another picture where you can see this is my face, of course, but here. So those are my pictures. Those are some of the pictures that I captured and kind of put things together. And so I would say take those pictures. Take those pictures. It's just a nice before and after, where you could see the difference in yourself, right? You could see the difference in yourself. And so that makes me feel good. And then here is, of course, I'm going to put this on the stage. Some of my that little latest picture. That picture came out so dark and it was bright in my house. I don't know. Something's up with the lighting. And, make sure you have the best light though when you're taking pictures so you can really, really see what's going on with yourself. So I think that was number 4. So let's go to number 5. Number 5 is that we have some friends in here that are big time into this strip training. I know Tia. I know Healthy Spirit Podcast, Tia. I know Simply Taisha, and I know Mel are in here, and they're big into that. I thought I saw Mr. Zepbound, I call him, Round Mound of Zepbound. I know he's into the weights. So lifting those weights, strength training is key for long-term success. That is so true, so true, so true. I would start that. I will share, I started off, if you know my journey, you probably heard this a million times because I've been really big on getting people to, and there's 2.0 mommy. I've been really good. She's also involved in the strength training. And so I've been really trying to hit this home that, we really got to strength train and build muscle. We really have to build our muscle. And I wish I would have started earlier with the weights. I did not. And one of the reasons why I did not is because I was so afraid of bulking up and maybe like halting my weight loss. And so now I realize that that was just a misconception. That was not true. But at the time, you couldn't convince me different. And then also I, was having issues with my knee. I had arthritis. I found out I had a little bit of arthritis in my knee. And I just thought, I do not want to injure my knee. I do not want to injure anything. I'm just going to take it easy. So, but what I was doing though, I was doing push-ups. I would use my bedpost for push-ups. I would use the wall to do push-ups. I was doing sit-ups, pull-ups, all kind of things just with my own body weight. And then I had resistance bands from, I had a little bit of arthritis in my back and I went and got therapy right before I started the GLP-1. And so I had resistance bands. I was using those. And so I was doing all those things that for some reason, I just thought it didn't count because I wasn't lifting weights. And so of course, that misconception I know now is not true. I found out that that is not true at all. And so I'm just excited that, I was able to get over that. And so now I'm lifting weights and I actually love it. I actually love it. And I feel strong, I feel really strong lifting those weights. So I'm excited about that. So if you are out there and you're starting your weight loss journey, or you're starting your journey to correct if you're a type 2 diabetic, or if you have sleep apnea, whatever you have going on and you're taking a GLP-1, if you are a lady over a certain age, and I would say I would even start, go as anybody in their 20s and 30s should be lifting weights and can be lifting weights. But really when you're in your 40s, 50s, your 60s, we really have to, work on protecting our bone density. We really have to stay strong. And I always say, when I fall, I want to fall gracefully, but most important, I want to be able to get back up. And that's not going to be as easy if you have bones that are just, weak and fragile. So you want to be strong. You want to be strong. And so strength training is going to be the key to that. And, I also know that people think like, when you lose weight, you lose fat. And that's not necessarily true. A lot of times when you're losing weight and you're losing it quickly, which some of us can on this GLP-1, you're losing muscle. You might not be losing fat. You think you're losing fat, but you're not. You're losing muscle. And so I think that, one of the things you really need to do is, maybe, I know people talk about this all the time, getting a DEXA scan or some kind of bone density scan, a scan of, what's going on in your body so that you know exactly where you are, and maybe set a goal for where you want to be. And so that's one of the things I'm working on, is getting a DEXA scan myself, because I did not. Now, according to my doctor, she doesn't think I need a DEXA scan. She thought I was kind of crazy when I brought it up, believe it or not. I meant to tell, you guys that my doctor said, nothing is wrong with your bones. You don't need a DEXA scan. And so guess what I'm going to do? Get a DEXA scan. And, true enough, it may not be, anything wrong with my bones right now, but I just want to know like the body fat, where I'm at and where I'm headed, right? I also want to be able to, a year down the road from now, from today, be able to say, this is where I was at and this is where I'm at now. So I think having that before and after, I can't stress that enough. That is just the thing to do. And so guess what I'm going to do? When I get my DEXA scan in a couple weeks, I'm going to be, and when I go back to my doctor in May, guess what I'm taking with me? My DEXA scan. And I'm going to tell her all about it. So I'm excited to do that. So that was number 5. So let's go to number 6. Number 6, something I wish someone would have told me is, this medication is just really a tool. It's not a magic fix. And I don't think I realized, if I'm being honest with myself, and not even you guys, because really I got to look at myself and deal with myself. I don't think I really thought that at first. I remember thinking to myself, when I was taking this medication, like, man, in 6 months, I might be down like 80 pounds. And I was not. I was down more like 35, 40 pounds, maybe 38 pounds. But yeah, I remember thinking I'm just going to take this injection and the weight was just going to melt off. And to my surprise, it did not. Now, one of the reasons could have been why it just didn't melt off like that is because I got the message to titrate up very slowly. I stayed on 2.5 for a couple months, and then, I went up to 5, and then it was the shortage happened. So I had to go back down to 2.5. And I was glad I did, because I thought I could have stayed. When I got on 5, it didn't really, I wasn't impressed by it. I didn't think it brought that extra suppression that I needed. So I thought I could have stayed at 2.5 and felt the same way. So I ended up having to go back to 2.5 because of the shortage. So for me, I wish I would have, just, realized that it's not a magic tool and it's not going to be fast. And I think that's also kind of what spurred me into thinking and comparing myself to people. I really do. I think this is kind of what, made me start comparing myself because, as I'm going along and I'm watching YouTube videos, this is before I became a content creator myself. I'm seeing people, in 5 months, they lost 60 pounds and, and I'm seeing in 4 months, they lost 50 pounds and 3 months, 50 pounds. And I'm just hearing and seeing all these numbers. And of course, like you want that for yourself, but at the same time, I knew that would probably slow down. And it wasn't until I would say my 7th month, because I remember making a video when I just came to realize for myself that, comparison is definitely the thief of joy, and stop comparing these people. And then when I started looking at the people I was comparing myself to, their weight actually started to slow down, for one. And then the second thing was they weren't 52. They weren't my age. They were not my age. And they also didn't have perimenopausal things going on at the rate and the way I did. And I'm 52. I don't think people really realize that I am in my 50s. And I like to say I'm sitting in my 50s because I'm not like I just turned 52, 51 or 52. Like I'm about to be 53. And so I have to embrace that and know that my body is different. It's going through the change. I am going through that change. And so once I that kicked in for me, I stopped comparing myself. And now, here and there I look and see, and the thought crosses my mind, but it crosses my mind and then it's back. It's back to reality. Like, no, ma'am, don't do that to yourself. And so, but I wish somebody had told me, this is a long game. Like this is just because people are dropping fast, that doesn't mean you're going to drop fast. And so, yeah, I think if you can get that in your mind early on, and, we even still have, we're all doing these lives, our community is so supportive, but, we have people who are newbies that come in and say, I only lost 2 pounds this week. 2 pounds in a week is fabulous. Or they'll say, I only lost 8 pounds this month. 8 pounds, I'll take that. 8 pounds is great. 8 pounds is great. You have some people who say, it's been 2 weeks and I lost 1 pound. That is great. You have to embrace that. And I know for all of us, even if you're a content creator, you have to admit we've all been there, done that, right? Where we thought, the slow weight loss, we just thought, oh my goodness, this is so slow. But in my case, and I started off slow and steady, and I still am slow and steady. But 63 pounds is nothing to sneeze at. And it just seemed like it just came. Like if I would have given up and said, oh my gosh, I've only lost a pound this week. Oh my gosh, I didn't have a weight loss. If I would have given up and quit, I would have not been at 63 pounds, right? Because I would have quit. So you have to keep going, even when the weight loss is slow. I guess that's my message. Like it's going to be slow. And even those people you see losing, well, there are some people who lose and can lose and continue to lose at a high rate for a year into their year and 2-3 months, and let those people be and do that and have that, because that's them, that's their body. And even for some of those people who I know are documenting their journey, they've even slowed down. We all hit stalls and plateaus, and I just think we have to fight through it. We have to plug away, and we just have to not give up. And so I always say, at the end of most of my videos, I say slow and steady wins the race, but just don't quit really is the message. Just don't quit. You got to keep going. So that brings me to number 7. Number 7, geez Louise. Number 7. I wish someone would have told me that you're going to have some loose skin. You guys might be saying, where do you have loose skin, Aditi? We haven't heard you talk about this. Well, I've talked about it, and I have this loose wrinkly skin. I don't know if you guys can see it on my neck here. Look at that. You see how that skin just sits there like that? What is up with that? That I have that. And, sometimes I'll be like, it's harder to see right now, but sometimes I'll be like, I was in my classroom today and I have a mirror. I open up the mirror and I look and I go, whose neck is that? Whose neck is that? Well, that's my neck with the wrinkly skin. And it's so funny because it reminds me of my mom. I remember when I first saw my mom getting older, my mom was, people thought we were sisters, right? Because she was so young looking. So that's probably where I get those genes from. Why didn't she give me the skinny gene though? She only gave me the the age, not looking your age. I got those genes. And so and I don't want to be skinny, but you know what I'm saying? Like, why did I have to have that weight issue going on? But so I looked and I thought, oh my gosh, I look like my mom. It reminded me of my mom. So while I don't like it, it's just a reminder of the most beautiful, important person I've ever experienced in life. And so I'll take it. So other than that, my loose skin is these flabby arms. I mean, I'm gonna have, I'm lifting weights and and I'm getting these arms together, but I'm gonna have some flab on these arms. I just know it. And some of you guys, some people have said to me, well, a plastic surgeon. You have a friend that's a plastic surgeon. Well, yeah, I do, and I don't know how much of a discount he would give me, but that's not even something I'm interested in, going under the knife for something like that. Now, I say that today. Now, a lady has a right to change her mind. I always say that. So who knows where I will be, down the road. But I just know I'm going to have hanging skin there. And you know what? I thought hanging skin or being, uncomfortable and overweight, I'll take the hanging skin all day long, like on my arms and stuff. Now I realize people have hanging skin in other places, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm hoping my mom's genes and my dad's genes kick in for that. How about that? I don't know if they're going to kick in. Body changes are real, though. I was telling my accountability partner who I work out with, we exercise, and I met her through this YouTube. She's a subscriber as well, and now she's a content creator. Kim J's Healthy Sweet Life. And, we were talking and I told her, when I walk past the mirror, I still look at myself and I don't see that I've lost 63 pounds. I do not. I see it in my face. I see it in my, my face. I see it in the clothes. The clothes are a lot bigger. One day I'll show you guys how the clothes are looking. But I don't really see that in my body. My body still seems big to me. Like not big, like, it is big because I'm still 240 something pounds, but it seems large. And so I don't know. I don't think I would call that body dysmorphia, but I will say you have to kind of get a grasp on, like, when you lose weight. I think a lot of times people think they're going to lose weight and have the perfect body. That is not true. And then you might say, I don't think that, but you think you're gonna lose weight and love what you see. You may not. I'm just gonna be honest with you. You may lose weight and you may not love what you see. And if you lose weight and don't love what you see, that's when you're gonna have to have some therapy to kick in, some therapy. And I don't know if, some people I know aren't a fan of therapy and it costs money. But if your insurance has it, I would definitely look into getting therapy to talk about your issues, because I know some people who have lost and got to their goal weight, and guess what? They are not happy. They are not happy with how they look. I know some people who even have gotten to the point where they have loose skin who say, if I would have known my skin was going to shrivel up like this, I would have stayed bigger. And so you have to figure that out for yourself, how far down you want to go, how much weight you want to lose. And I don't care what anybody tells you, there is not a cream that's going to draw that skin back in. There is not. You could do some strength training, but when you're over a certain age, now that might work when you're 20, 30, maybe in your 40s if you're lucky. But when you get older, that muscle is only going to fill up so much of, what needs to be filled up. Like I know for sure in my arms, I'm going to have hanging skin. I just know it. And so, I'm going to have to tussle with that. What am I going to do? And the funny thing is, isn't it the same issue we had when we were bigger? Like, how am I going to cover my arms so nobody sees it? Well, now I might be saying, how am I going to cover my arms so this loose skin is not showing? So, what I'm saying to you is you got to be really ready for the reality of when I lose weight, I still may not be the happiest person that I want to be. I still may not feel happy. I still might not feel joy. And if you know to look out for that and you know that that's a possibility, I would start working on that now. I would start, sketching, journaling. How do you see yourself? What are you going to do if you see yourself and you see that skin is not tight? Now it's tight because it's, you got weight filling it up, fat fills it up. People, when those celebrities get really skinny, they are super thin. And what do you see their face looking like? It's full of fillers. It's full of fillers because we know that that's going to make you look even youthful, right? Youthful. And I think that's probably why I look youthful for so long, because, my face was always chunky. And so once you lose that fat, it's just skin. It's just skin hanging. So I want you guys to be prepared for that because, I'm in the process of trying to figure all that out, right? I'm trying to figure all that out. And I'm thinking like, is this skin really going to retract? It probably is not. And I'm going to have to be okay with that. And so there are alternatives, things you can do. So if you haven't checked out the video, I have a video that, and my friend is going to come back. He's a plastic surgeon. He talked about everything weight loss. I'll probably reproduce that video and get a shorter version of it out so people don't have to, sit through the whole hour and a half of it. And I'll do that sometime coming up. He's going to come back in the summertime or whenever I ask him. But I said maybe in the summer, some people might be more closer to their goal and may want to talk about some more options or have some questions if they're nervous. But that's something, like I said, that's not on my radar, but a lady has a right to change her mind. It could be. It could be. It could be. So loose skin and body changes are real. And yeah, that's just a real thing. And I want you to prepare your mind for that if you have not already. So that brings me to number 8. And then I'm going to go up in this chat because this chat is people are talking in the chat. And I want to know what's going on here. All right, so this is the last thing I'll say, and then I have a bonus too. So the last thing I will say is this is so important. If you are a newbie, if you are currently, in this fight with me, you're on this journey with me and you're, 50, 60, 70 pounds in. If you're on maintenance, you've met your goal already, you know that you have to find, you have to find times to celebrate when that scale is not moving. And I say, even if the scale is moving, and you guys know I've incorporated this on my Sunday weigh-ins, you have to celebrate the non-scale victories right along with the weight loss. To me, it's not an instead of, it's an addition to. And I see a lot of people talk about it like, oh, you didn't lose, so let's talk about the non-scale victories. But for me, I think non-scale victories are a part of this process, whether you lose or not. And so if you're on maintenance, I'm sure you found the beauty in that. It's great to celebrate those non-scale victories because you're not dependent on that scale. Well, I would say I freed my mind when I don't depend on that scale. I go with that non-scale victory. So, if I can sit in a seat that it would used to be tight, and now I can sit in it comfortably. Today I was in a meeting. I had a morning meeting. I was able to cross my legs at the table. That's a non-scale victory for me. And so little things like that, I find time to celebrate that. And so I would say to you, find those non-scale victories and go with that. And you can't celebrate yourself too much on this journey. I'm all about, like, I tell you guys, I love to give compliments. I love to point out the best in people. My job as an educator is to critique folks and tell people what they need to do better. And so I always like to start that off, though, with a compliment when I can, like something you're doing right. And so I have taken that approach on this weight loss journey. Just finding the things that I'm doing right and trying to focus on that and giving myself credit for that. So you should all give yourself credit for that. And I remember, I'm going to tell you guys, there was this lady, and I'm not going to say her name. She's she talks about, she's like a, what do you call her? She does reaction videos. She's kind of like an influencer, and she like recaps shows, like gives her opinion. And I said I was going to contact this lady because she ticked me off. She was talking about Oprah one day, and she was saying, Oprah is 70. Why is she taking a GLP-1? And why is she worried about how she looks at this age and worried about her body? She needs to be focused on her, getting older and growing old gracefully. And why is she worried about how she looks? And when I tell you that ticked me off, because I'm thinking, it's because you're in your 70s, you're not supposed to be concerned with your health. Because you're in your 70s, you should want to, look better. You should want to feel better. And I remember my grandmother passed at 92. My grandmother was putting on lipstick until the day she passed. I mean, she was concerned with how she was looking and how, and looking her best and being presentable. And, and I asked her, Grandma, why, Granny, why are you doing that? And she said, because I want to feel good. She wanted to feel good. Now, my grandmother, her nickname was Tiny. She was a small lady, so she never had weight issues at all. But she was concerned with, how she looked and how she felt. And she said looking good made her feel good. So I think that that's an important thing that sometimes we lose. We think people want to look good just because, they're vain or, whatever the reason would be. But that is so true. When you look good, don't you feel good? And when you feel good, guess what? You want to look good. And so I don't think it's anything wrong with that. And I thought at 70, if you guys know me at 70, just remind me, I want to be fabulous all the way up until the day I leave here. Now, I don't wear lipstick. I don't know if you notice, I'm not a big makeup fan. I don't really know how to put it on that well. I do what I can, but I don't wear lipstick. I might wear lip gloss, little something subtle. And so when I'm made up, like I probably look glammed out because I'm not really always made up. And so, but I still want to look my best. Even when I was the biggest weight at 306 pounds, you could but not catch me slipping. I still wanted to look good because she is right. I felt good, right? Even if I was 306 pounds, I wanted to feel good. And so looking good and feeling good, there's definitely a connection with that. And so, I say all that to say, celebrate yourself. I don't care if you're 68, you're 70. I've heard people 80 in their 80s taking these GLP-1 medications. And I saw this lady made a comment, and she was in someone else's chat, not chat, but in the comments. And she was saying that, I want to say she said she was 78 or something in her 70s. And she said, she is getting herself in shape, not so much worried about how she looks, but she wants to feel better and she wants to be able to run around with her grandkids. And I thought, the reason why I wanted to contact this lady, because she's just misinformed. She's very misinformed. And also reminded me of somebody who probably never had a weight issue, right? Never had a weight issue. Although I see her I will take that back. She was chunky. She might not think she had a weight issue. She was a little chunky and she was on this workout kick. But I think she's one of those people that are in the mindset of all you have to do is exercise and you're going to drop this weight. You're going to lose all this weight. And all you got to do is put the work in. All you got to do is work super hard, not realizing that for everyone, that's not our journey. For everyone, that's not the fix for us. And so, one of these days, I'm gonna reach out to her and let her know what I just told you. Okay. And so, I do have a bonus. Before I go in the chat, I want to say this is the bonus, and I kind of, hit on this, but I think this is so underrated. Having therapy for mental health, I'm telling you, there is so much value in that. I know people think I'm on a weight loss journey. I don't need to go get therapy. I need to lose weight. There's a reason why you've gained so much weight, right? There's a reason why you gain weight. And if you haven't discovered that why, I know people a couple months ago, there were videos about finding your why and finding why you want to go on the weight loss journey and all that. And a lot of the videos I saw kind of were like superficial, and not in a bad way, but you know what I'm saying? It just kind of scratched the surface. I should say that, as I don't want people out there thinking I'm saying their videos are superficial, but people really didn't crack that code, right? They didn't really tell some of the deep things. And I guess you probably wouldn't want to put some deep things in a video. And so don't put it in a video. Go seek therapy. Go seek therapy, because that's what a lot of people need to do. A lot of people need to seek therapy. It's such a mind shift, losing a lot of weight. And it's a mind shift to even gain the weight. Think about all the things you had to maneuver when you were 300, 400, 500 pounds. All the things you had to maneuver, all the things that you had to do to compensate for being your weight, all the things that you had to deal with, all the comments, all the stares, all the, if she would just lose weight, all the, she's so pretty. Why can't she just lose weight? Or he's so handsome. He just needs to lose 50 pounds. Or if he just lost the weight, he would be so much better. All that stuff you guys are dealing with, and we are dealing with, I should say, I include myself in there. What happens when you lose that weight? Where does all that go? And who do you talk to about where that goes? So I think a lot of times that's why we have built, and I will say myself on my channel and the channels that I visit, people have built safe spaces for people to be able to talk and share, because I do realize it's not lost on me that, a lot of people don't have people to talk to. And sometimes you do, you might have a sister, a cousin, a brother, a family member. But I would venture to say, unless they're taking a GLP-1 medication, or unless they've had weight issues before, they definitely don't relate like we relate to you here. They just don't, because it's just a different journey. And they may have had weight issues before, but being on this GLP-1 journey is very, very unique. And so I encourage anybody out there, start your channel, tell talk about your journey, talk about what you're doing, talk about why you're doing it. But I get that mental health part of it. And really, and I don't know, any content creators in the chat, don't you think that, sharing your journey is kind of like a therapy a little bit? Because I know I do. I feel like this is like a little bit of therapy for me. It's to come here and talk to you guys and share, my journey, and just, talk about how I'm feeling and how I'm maneuvering. It's a little bit of therapy, but I have yet to see a video where people really talk about the nitty-gritty of why they gain weight the way they have. And so everything is not for a video. And I realize that, right? Everybody's not going to share. But I would venture to say there's some deep-rooted issues going on with people, and they might not put it in the video, but it is. And I'm telling you, when you get down to your weight goal, it's still going to be there. It's still going to be there. And so now, what are you going to do when you get there? And you know how they say it's lonely at the top. It's lonely when you get to your goal, and now you don't know what to do. You don't know where to go from there. So I would say therapy is huge, 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 huge. I would say, seek it out, try to get it, check your insurance, see if, your insurance could cover it. And just talk to somebody about your struggles. And the more you talk to somebody, the more comfortable you will be with that person, and eventually you will be sharing things that you didn't think you were going to share. And I think that's great. And it may be things that happened in your childhood that led up to where you are now. But I just think it's a lot of value in that. It's a lot of value in that. And coming here and being able to share and talk is great. But I'm no therapist. Neither is anybody that I know of in these comments are a therapist, or in some of these videos. And even if they are, you kind of just need that personal touch. Like if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, then maybe not. Now I will say, I don't know when this is going to kick in, but I think eventually these medications are going to come with some sort of mandate almost. And I don't know how you could do that, but I think they're going to come with some sort of mandate or strong recommendation or some kind of script where you would have to get therapy. And we already know that happens with bariatric surgery. So for people who are thinking that's never going to happen, well, that's what happens with bariatric surgery, right? You have to get therapy. You have to lose a certain amount of weight. There are things put in place for you to do in order to get that bariatric surgery. And I really think down the road, that's what's going to happen with these GLP-1 medications. And I am all for that. I am all for that. But advocate for yourself. Go and ask your doctor. I don't know if you're with a telehealth company. They offer a nutritionist. Say, hey, do you offer some kind of therapy with this? And all they can do is say we do or we don't. And there are a lot of free counseling services too. So maybe on the next video, or maybe on one of my posts, I'll put up some free counseling services that you could talk to. But I just think it's value in that. I really think it's value in that. And if you have a doctor that's loving and caring and supportive, stick with that doctor and maybe recommend to your friends and to us if we're in the same areas and community, because I think that the best thing you can have on this journey is a doctor that is in your corner, that is advocating for you, not just a doctor that's taking your blood, writing the scripts and getting your blood pressure and all that together. I think the best thing you can have is a doctor that is advocating for you, that is saying, hey, I'm gonna you can't carry the torch, I'm going to pick up the baton and carry it for you. And so if you don't have that, seek that out, and don't be afraid to kick that doctor to the curb. If you have a doctor that is not in your corner, that is not an advocate, that is not somebody you could call, that is not somebody you can get in touch with, that's the wrong person for you. I'm sorry to say it, it's just the truth. So you need to find a doctor that is willing to care about you, right? Care about you. When somebody cares about you, they want the best for you. They want to know what's going on. You building somebody who wants to build a relationship. If you have a doctor that's too busy to build a relationship with you, that's not the doctor for you. So that's my last piece of advice. I'm sure I left things out. Anything in the chat that I forgot to say, let me know. We're going to go to the comments now. There are so many comments, so I'm going to skip the hellos, the goodbyes, and all of that. I'm just going to go to the comments. I do want to say before I forget, the reason why I have on this red hat is because today is the anniversary of me being a Delta. I have been a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated for 32 years. So my Sands, which I have 4 of them, we were all in the group text today. We were saying, shout out each other, and, we're planning a fabulous trip for 35. And I thought, I don't have on any red. I had on a red shirt, and it just kind of looked like I was like all over the place. It had the arms out. It was super fancy, and it wasn't for this video. So I thought I'm just going to put on a red hat because I wanted to wear something that reminded me of my girls and my sorority. So that's why I'm wearing a red hat. I had a hat on in this thumbnail, so that's good because I have a hat on in the thumbnail so you can kind of see the before and a little bit of the after. All right. So what is the chat saying? What is the chat saying? This chat goes up. I want to say again, thank you to Linda. She is a new member. Hello. Look at that cute profile pic. I love a good profile pic. I just love them. I love seeing people and how they look. So we were saying the hellos. We had Jen come in. We had Mary come in. We had, of course, Mel B. Who else? Okay, let's see. She says, love Fagamy. I don't know what that is. Fagafem, Mary, I use that and mini dose of testosterone. Ooh, okay, Mel. You got that energy going on. Okay. And people are saying, oh, thank you. Saying I look good with the 63 pounds. I appreciate that. You look fabulous. Congratulations on your journey. You've been working your butt off. Congrats, my friend. Thank you, Mel. Looking good. Thank you. Thank you. Mel, I have an IUD that gives me doses of progesterone. Very good. Very good. I love that. You have to let me know, Mary, how that's working for you. Okay. I don't take anything right now, but I may be headed that way. Um, looking fabulous. Thank you, Z. Thank you, Taisha. DD, are you a Cancer or a fellow Lioness? I am a Cancer. Can't you tell with the tear? You know, I get so emotional. And I am a really kind person. I am a really kind person. This is funny because I sent a message to it just reminds me of this Cancer that you say because I'm not a zodiac person, but I think zodiacs kind of can be on point sometimes, even though I'm not like a zodiac type of person. But I sent this to my Sans, a message telling her, I said, you are the funniest, sweetest, most no nonsense person. And I love it. And so she wrote me back and she said, love you too. And she said, you are the funniest, sweetest, and most giving person. And that made me feel so good because this is a lady who's known me for 35 plus years. And, it's just like she knows me so well. And she's no nonsense. And she tries to tell me you gotta cut them off. You gotta cut them off. Now, not with the guys, because I'm good at that. It's just, sometimes I give the females, because I think women are hard on each other. I really think we're hard on each other. And I try not to do that and be that way, but some people leave you no choice. So I just thought that was a great compliment that, she said that you're such a giving person. So that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good. So, 'cause I'm always giving compliments, so it's nice to give a compliment. Now, Mary says, Mel, I'm going to mention to my PA. I said my PA. Okay, remember, I'm not good with these acronyms about testosterone at my Well Women appointment. Okay, very good, very good. Mel is helping folks out in this chat. Mary, that's awesome. Please let me know how it goes if you decide to take it. Okay, very good. Hey, round mound of Zepbound. Hey, Charles, he's saying hello to Mel. Charles, your content has been everything excellent. I agree. People are saying hello to Charles. He's saying hello. He's saying hey, Mindy. He's saying he loves that Mago 7. I do too. Simply Taisha, plant-based for the win. Why am I all up on the camera like this? I don't know why I do that. I'm going to try to move back. It's not going to work. Again, I'm going to be all up in your grill like this. This is so funny. People are saying hello to Mel, Bago 7 for the win, Taisha, Divana. She says, I shop all over the counter products and started eating the yellow dragon fruit, and it has got me all the way right. Yes, I need to try that yellow dragon fruit. Jazzy MDG, I'm so glad you're here. I have a very good friend. It's kind of like a bestie almost. And her name is Jazzy. I call her Jazzy J. And you remind me of her. So when I see you in here, it's like a piece of my, my home life in here. So I love seeing you in here. We are 20 today. LOL. Love it. People are saying hello to Jazzy. I'm going to work out and watch. Oh, okay. Yeah, I love the way you multitask. Mel said she just finished working out. I love that. Healthy Spirit Podcast, Tia. I only measure monthly. I hate doing it. Or if I need to buy clothes because I have no idea what size to buy these days. Well, that's a good problem to have, right? That's a good problem to have. Antonio, hello. 2.0 mommy. Hello. All right. It's because the window was behind you. Okay. Marley, is that Marlia? Marilia. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I love it. I love different names because I see, when I run into a name I don't know, that's saying a lot as a teacher for 31 years. Hi, Jill. She's saying she hopes you feel better. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, twin. Okay, seriously, going to work out now. Okay, okay. You saw Jill in here. We're glad to see Jill. We love her. Black Squirrel says, I want to be into weightlifting, but I'm still sporadic with it. Yeah, so Black Squirrel, just get yourself on a schedule. Get yourself on a schedule. Maybe start with like one day and then build yourself up to 2 days and then 3 days. And then I think you'll have it once you get a routine going. But I love that. Very good. So you're on the right track. You're starting at least and thinking about it. Jill, oh, we miss seeing you on the lives too. Hope you're doing better. And then Jill is saying, day by day, thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Jill says she's hanging in there. I love that. 2.0 mommy, Jill says it's addictive because you can actually feel changes in your strength. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, okay. I love that. And I am feeling strong. Yes, you're right about that. Taisha says, facts, 14 pounds of muscle loss in the first month on Zepbound. You lost 14 pounds of muscle. Jeez, Louise, 4 pounds of fat. That's a lot of muscle. So I hope you're getting it back. And Mel says, Dee Dee is speaking truth tonight, period. Yes, 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 yes. I felt that too. Like, I'm just going to come here and just say it, say it, say it, say it. Healthy Spirit Podcast. Yes, you can't control. I like Dexus because I just need to know. It's the body count I care about, not the bone density. I have an update to post this week. Okay, very good. And you know what, Tia? You can follow her on Healthy Spirit Podcast. She is on Instagram, and that's where I saw those muscles. Super, super cute pic. And like I said, you could just tell you're putting in work. Mail to the B says, yes, Dee Dee, you have to advocate for yourself. The DEXA scans have been invaluable. And no, the Renpho Smart Scale, any smart scale, including mine, is not a replacement for the DEXA scan. Yes, yes, yes. So I'm taking that knowledge from you guys and I'm running straight to to get a scan with it. My doctor says I don't need one. She didn't even want to entertain it. She just thought I was even silly for asking about it, but that's okay. I'll be taking her the results. Dee Dee, did you know 2.0 Mommy says that 30% of people over 50 who break a hip die within the first year? When I learned that, I remember you saying that. When I learned that from Dr. Tina, I was scared straight into strength training. Yes, and you know what? I could just see it in my real life, though. I mean, I've seen so many people. I actually had a friend who's had a family member pass after a fall. They were older, and I've just seen it in so many people. They fall and then they're never the same. They're never the same after. And sometimes they don't necessarily pass away within that first year, but it's soon thereafter. I've seen that for sure in my real life. So that fact I would have to agree with. Yes, Mounjaro is a 2. I had to do the work on losing the weight. Yes, and many people don't think that. They just think, oh, I'm going to take this injection. It's going to work like magic. It's going to melt off like butter. And I would venture to say in the first couple months, it might, without you doing a whole lot. But eventually, in time, you're going to have to put some lifestyle changes in place, or it's not going to be sustainable. It won't. Let's see. I've been 8 months on tirzepatide, and the closest I get to my goal, the slowest. Yes, 10 pounds away. Yes, and doesn't that happen? And I just think that's your body holding on to that your body, is holding on to that weight. And we all know about the set point that they say your body has, and how your body wants to hold on to fat, hold on to, what is the makeup that it was used to. And, we're saying, no, 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 no. We got to let those pounds go. We got to let that fat go. Taisha says, a common misconception, muscle does not weigh more than fat. 1 pound of muscle is equal to 1 pound of fat. Muscle just takes up less space. Great fact. Great fact. Thank you. I wish I could have pointed that out when I was talking in that video. I might have to go and add that. 2.0 mommy. Okay, okay. Oh, wait, Lakeisha says, my neck is the same. My neck is the same. Oh, okay, very good. So you were in there with me on the neck. Yes, that situation. I think a lot of people were saying they have that neck issue. I'm gonna get your name right, Marila with 1 L. Marila with one L. I love that. We got this, Jill. My neck looks worse than yours. Hello. Geraldine, how are you? She said hello to everyone. You notice how I get so excited when I see these names pop in here. I love that. Taisha, yep, fat is fluffy, muscle is lean. Yes, and yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to get that lean muscle. Um, 63 pounds is a lot. Huge loss. Congrats. Thank you. Thank you. Now I feel like that. You know what? Marilla, am I saying your name right? Marilla. Once I got to that 50, I felt that way. I felt 50 pounds. Once I could get to 50, I felt like I have just accomplished something. And not that I didn't before that. And the reason why I say 50 is because I had lost 50 pounds before, and it was over 50 on my weight loss journey. So a previous weight loss journey. So I thought once I get there, I'm going to feel so accomplished because I had been there before. Once I got to 60, it was just beyond I felt accomplished because I don't think I've ever lost 60 pounds at one time. Do you know what I mean? So it's a huge, huge, huge feeling of being proud of myself and feeling successful. And so, and she wrote, that is so true, Dee Dee. I have loose skin on my inner thighs. It is what it is. Hopefully I can feel some of it with muscle eventually. Yeah, and I mean, you just have to hope for the best and keep working at it. I love that. We have, Jerlene says, congratulations, thank you. And Kim J, Sweet Healthy Life, she says, hi, that's my accountability partner. Very good, Kim is in here. Marila says, I'm able to at least look at myself in the mirror now. Body dysmorphia is real. It definitely is. I'm glad you could look at yourself now. I really am. Looking at yourself is key, right? I think that's such a great start. I think it's a great start. Don't forget to hit that like button and show some love. Yes, yes, yes. Show some love. Hit that like button. I appreciate that. Let's see. And Mel has followed up with that too. Please hit that like button, you beautiful people. I love that. So you've lost 51 pounds, or are you 51 in age? So I don't know, but whatever it is, it's both fabulous. I love all things 50 and fabulous, and I love that 51 pounds that's a milestone weight loss if you've lost that much. So good for you either way. If you're 51 by age, God goodness, you're doing well. You don't look it at all. And I don't know how you're supposed to look at 50, but whatever is in my mind, it's not that. It's you're given much younger. Linda's journey. I am living and loving my 68-year-old body. I am joyful with my loose skin on my thighs and arms. I'm so happy to be healthy and free from rheumatoid arthritis pain. I have lost 95 pounds. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. As of Monday. That is fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, if it was a mic, drop the mic. Because that is just awesome. And I'm glad you feel good. And I always like to say, do you feel as good as you look? So hopefully you're feeling just as good as you look. I love that. Congratulations. That's amazing, Linda. Yes, it is. Linda's journey. I can relate. 70 years and in the best shape in over 25 years. Jeez Louise. Didn't you know that was coming tonight? Jeez Louise. Now, that is an accomplishment. That is an accomplishment. 70 years and you're in the best years of your life. So remember, I told that story about the lady talking about Oprah. I want to say, meet Geraldine King. How about that? Meet her. Jeez Louise. That is awesome. 2.0 Mommy saying that is wonderful. I don't and have not depended on the scale on my journey. Okay, well, my ears are perked up now. I keep it real for me always. I compliment me. Non-scale victories have kept me on my journey. My starting weight was 252, and today I'm at 167. Jeez Louise. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but you are awesome. You are a rock star. A rock star. Let me take this off and go back to the comments. Okay. Look at my hat from my Friday Night Lives, just chilling back there. I feel like it's like, a part of my crew here in a hat. Okay, all right, Linda. I have to go back. Linda is just on fire. I love when Linda speaks because she is not playing around. She's like, oh no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm gonna tell you, I compliment myself. I just love that. I love the confidence. I love a confident person. Okay, I think I got off track. Okay, here we go. So yeah, people are saying Miss Linda, yes, 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 Jerlene. Kim is saying, Divana, I tried the yellow dragon fruit and it's 100. Took it, to go alongside the other fruit I ate already. That she took it to go along with the other fruit she ate already, but also upping my water back to 70 plus ounces and getting veggies all in helped her get rid of the constipation. Very good. Well, because you're getting a lot of fiber. I think of roughage when I see what you wrote that you're eating. So yeah, that's awesome. All right, we got a 9-scale victory doing my own pedicure. I absolutely love it. That self-care, caring for yourself. Very good. And 2.0 mommies congratulating you. Black Squirrel says Oprah has every right to be healthy and slim. People that have never been heavy don't understand how the inflammation from obesity feels. Yes, yes, yes. And you know what? That the inflammation, just for that to leave, that's just like a non-scale victory beyond non-scale victories, right? That was one of the things that I felt early on. I'm like, geez, I don't have those aches and pains and all that, my knee, and I still do have like some things going on in my back, but not my knee, not my knee. That is totally gone. And I bet you that's probably one of the things that might keep me on the medication too, is how I'm feeling, right? Because I may be able to maintain the weight loss, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to maintain this pep in my step that I have without the inflammation. So that's a real consideration. We shall see. We shall see. Linda said, I'm still on 5 milligrams of Zepbound. I spent 20 weeks on 2.5 and 35 weeks on 5 milligrams of Zepbound. She is still on 5 milligrams, and the doctor did not increase my Zepbound on Monday. Wow, well, I don't know why he would. You're doing so awesome on it. Very good, very good. So you stayed in those lower doses. See, that always intrigues me, people that lose on those lower doses like that. I just love that. But, at the same time, I know we're always talk about being afraid to move up. And I will say, everyone is truly different. And if you have to be on the 10 like me or get up to that 12.5 or even the 15, then do it. Do whatever it takes for you to get that that weight loss and that inflammation out and everything moving in the right direction for you. Because I may be titrating up myself here pretty soon. I don't know. I'm not against it at all. Um, Marila, I agree with body dysmorphia. It's real, and I'm 51 too. So she was saying she's 52 years old, huh? Okay. Wow. Geez Louise. There's some nice looking folks in here. Linda, Mindy says, I was on 2.5 for 12 and now 5.0 for 38 weeks. Geez Louise. My doctor finally prescribed 7.5 because I'm ready. I won't start for at least a month yet, though. Very good. And then you've also changed your diet, Mindy. I know you upped your calories. You have a lot going on. You're training for that triathlon, though. So I think you're an athlete mode, right? So your situation is going to be a little bit different. I don't feel comfortable sharing with people in my life. Very judgmental. Yes, a lot of people have that going on. So that's why I say therapy, I think is great. I think it's great. I think a lot of times it gets a bad rap, but if you don't have anybody to share with, that could be lonely, right? That could be lonely because I know we come here, we are a community, but sometimes you need somebody to talk to at 10 o'clock at night when we're not on, or right, or 1 a.m. when we're not on. So I think it's a lot of value in that. I think it's a lot of value in that. Thanks for sharing that. Mindy says, I've said this before, but my doctor pretty much insisted I get therapy as a condition of prescribing Mounjaro. Very good. I remember that. She's seen me lose and gain 100 pounds multiple times. So she said I needed to figure it out. So, Mindy, this is the $1,000 question for you. Have you figured it out? Or you probably haven't figured it out already, but are you in the process of actually figuring it out? I wonder. Linda's journey says my weight gain was from taking mega doses of what's that called? Presenol and steroid shots over a year for rheumatoid arthritis. Oh man, geez Louise. Yeah, so and when you're taking those steroids like that, you're gonna gain, right? That's what they do. They make you gain weight. Sometimes people discount that. I think they just think some of us are eating just to be eating, not realizing you could have had health conditions, been on medication, all kind of things that contribute to weight gain. I agree. Mindy's doctor sounds like she is awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Mel, she's the best. She's so caring, and she's a no BS lady. I love that. I love that. Okay, people are saying congrats to Miss Linda. Mel is saying, Mel, we know Mel. You fired your doctor. I love that. And so now you got one that is like that. And she goes to the mine is like that, and she goes to my gym. Very good. So she sees you're in there working out. I love that. The mental health aspect, Simply Taisha says, of this journey is so important. It really, really is. It really, really is. Mindy, those make the best doctors. I would agree. Mindy says, Taisha, you are my unofficial therapist, Taisha. I think a lot of people feel like that about Taisha because she's so zen and calm and giving that advice. Linda's journey says, lost the use of my left arm and hand. I was not able to do anything. I struggled. Then my dad died and I started taking care of my mom. It was a lot. I talked to my doctor about helping me. And is that when they introduced the Zepbound probably to you? Geez, Louise. Oh man. Well, I am glad you are thriving. You sound like you're thriving and you're doing well today. Thank you for sharing that. Mindy, that is an honor. That is an honor when somebody tells you that, right? I love that, Mindy. Congrats, Dee Dee, and your Delta Sigma Theta sorority. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She said, oops, sorors. Thank you, thank you. That's incredible. Yeah, her story is incredible. I love that she actually shared that. Praying for you, Linda, says Jerlene. I actually think you told me that. I agree. Not deep into zodiac, but when you are born in the weather alignment of the stars play into your personality. Okay, okay. Yeah, some people are really into the zodiac. Like I said, I'm not big into it, but sometimes it does line up and you think like, geez, that's right on point. That's right on point. Okay, okay. Hello, Charles, lifting you up in prayer. Okay, that was for him. I'm gonna skip past the hellos. You guys probably already read those in the chat anyway. Let's see. Someone said, "Oh, Marilia." I'm. Now you're gonna make me mess up her name even more if I'm messing it up. But she says, by the way, Mel, loved your interview at the Downsize. Yes, we did. I was talking to Mel about that interview at the Downsize. It reminded me of, some challenges my mom had, who was always thin, but then there was a point she gained weight. And it's not like we would probably think like, oh, she gained weight, that's nothing. But for her, it was a lot of weight. It was a lot of weight for her. For somebody, if you're a size 2, 4, and then you go up to like an 8, 10, 12, that's a lot of weight. So, let's see. I'm taking pole dancing classes. I get bored easy when I am. Okay, okay. All right. So here we have Mariela. Mariela. Did I get it right? I'm so sorry. Eh, I gotta hear it. I have to hear her saying that. I got to hear it because now I'm not gonna ever get it right. Linda says I'm taking pole dancing classes. I get bored easy when I am. Okay, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have you cracking up. And I'm one of those people. If somebody mess up my name, I don't really get upset, but some people get so upset when you mess up their name. And so I'm glad you're not one of those people because I probably have said your name a million times different. Every time I get to it, I think I'm trying it again. I'm trying it again. I never give up. I never give up. I might have to give this up though. Okay, Linda working it out alone. Let's see. Okay. Wait a minute. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna put my okay. A little birdie told me Mariella. Did I get it right? Did I? Mariella. I hope I got it right. Now I love that name, Mariella. Did I get it right? I hope so. I hope so. I hope I'm closer. Okay, Miss Linda. Yes, ma'am. I love when Kim says that. I've done a couple of pole dancing classes before. What? Wait. How to pole dancing? I didn't wait. Now what? I didn't skip now. Way too far. Wait. Pole dancing classes. Jeez, Louise. Let me go back up to where I left off. Okay. You guys are so funny. You guys are the sweetest people. You're trying to help me with this pronunciation. Wait a minute. We have in here Beverly. Beverly, how are you? How are you? I love that. Okay, wait a minute, Beverly. And I saw somebody else come in here. Delilah, how are you? Wait, I'm so intrigued by this pole dancing. Oh, wait, where is it? Where is it? I think Simply Taisha said that. Wait, okay, let me get to it. Let me get to it. Um, Wait, is that Linda who said that? Linda, I am taking pole dancing classes. I get bored easy when I am not. You did say that, and you know what? It did not register with me pole dancing classes. I think I just totally skipped over the pole. Oh, that is too funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, how are you liking those? Working out alone. I also take Zumba class. Okay, very good. How do you like the pole dancing? Um, how do you like that? Let's see. Okay, Miss Linda. Yes, ma'am. Okay, now that's where I left off at. You guys are so funny. Oh my gosh. And then Mel says, Kim J, I ain't shocked about that pole dancing. I love that. I love taking Zumba. I used to take Zumba too, but the hip hop one, the Latin one, hurt my knees. Okay, I agree that it does hurt your knees. Some of those line dances or those Latin dances. I agree. The hip hop one was okay. Sometimes they do too much jumping around. Prior to your tendon tear, injury stopped my progress there. Oh man, sorry about that, Kim. I used to take pole classes years ago. I took it for a few years. Okay. All right. So let's see. What are you guys saying? And now, is it Mary Ella? Because I didn't just say it. Like the little birdie didn't say Mary Ella. I don't think Mary Ella. But I love it. I think that's a beautiful name. Okay. Let's see. Delilah, no notification. Delilah, you have to remember every Wednesday at 8. Every Wednesday at 8, but you probably need the bell to like let you know it's 8, huh? Hello. Child, I don't wait, child, I don't want I'm gonna do if I start going live, I will mess up some names. Oh, well, that's okay. You know what? You got good intentions. You just do it the best way you can. I feel like that as a teacher, right? I'm jacking some names up at first, and then eventually I get it right, right? I get it right. And last names, first names aren't as hard. Last names are. And another thing that helps is I'll say, honey, can you pronounce your name for me? And then they say it, right? And I didn't get a chance to say, you don't get a chance to do that here. Okay. Finally, she got it right. Yes. I do not give up, Mindy. I do not give up. Okay. All right. Jamisha, hello. I love that profile pic. That blue is so cute on you. Love it. You guys pray for me. I finished drinking that yucky prep feeling, so blah. I have to get up at 4:15 to drink the rest. Tomorrow your colonoscopy is at 10:15. Okay, okay. I am on it. Beverly, I didn't realize. I thought you were postponing it. I thought you told me you were postponing that. Okay, okay. All right. Mia says, oh, poll, that's really fun, I bet. Yes, yes, yes. Yay. Thank you. I got it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now let's see if I can maintain it. Now I'm not going to try to mess it up again. I might not say it. Hey, it's Darium. Good evening, DD and the Diva Squad. I love that. The Diva Squad. That's so cute. I love pole dancing classes. It's challenging. Yes, I have a good, well, we're good friends, but we don't really talk that often. She's like my soror. And she used to have her own studio where she was doing that. Now I don't know. She's a professor at a college now. How about that? And so I think her studio, she still has it in New York, but she had one in Ohio. I have all kind of friends, huh? Who knew? But yeah, and actually, I've never gone to her pole dancing. I always thought I was too heavy to be on somebody's pole trying to dance. So maybe now that I'm slimming down, I might try to do it. But I would have to go to New York, right? Because I think she closed her studio down in Ohio. How about that? With Taisha, we could meet there if she did not. Because I have to drive to get to it. It's not near me, but yeah, I have to drive a couple hours to get there. All right. So he says, good luck, Beverly. Yes, good luck, Beverly. I know you're gonna have good luck. Yes, you're gonna do well. You're gonna do well. Rosalind, hey Dee and all. I came in on the pole dancing classes. I gotta go back to see how this dance class came up. I know, I said the same thing. Oh my goodness. Since YouTube seems to be fickle with us giving alerts, notification, downsizing Diva times are Wednesday at 8, Fridays, Kim, you are on it. Fridays at 8:30 and Sundays at 2, unless otherwise directed by DD. That is so true. So I am on. Goodness, I don't realize I was on that much live. But yeah, I go live every Wednesday at 8, every Friday at 8:30, and Sundays at 2. Sundays at 2, I'm giving my weight loss update. And I'm starting to get hot. I'm hot and flustered all of a sudden. I think it's the hat. Um, and it's laughing. You guys have me laughing about that, the poll. I'm like, where did that come from? I forgot what day I'm on. It's been so busy. Remember, I work nights, so I'm busy. And if the notification doesn't come, I forget what time it is. I'll try to remember to text you and let you know. I can't remember what I did yesterday sometimes either. So I don't know. Linda said Zepbound has made it possible for me to swing around the pole. Rheumatoid is no longer bothering my knees. I love that. Okay, I gotta take off this sweater because I'm hot now. Wait, is this? Oh, I don't have this light. This light is not coming up. I don't know why. Okay, let me take off this sweater. I'm gonna put something up for you guys to look at. I am hot to trot. Well, I'm not really hot to trot, but I'm just kind of warm. Let's see. Let's put this up. Okay, I am back. I don't have on my sweater and I have on the fan. I got a hot flash all of a sudden. I don't know what happened, but geez, Louise. Okay, let's go back to experience with Rosalind. Says I haven't done Zumba in ages, my DVD or in person. But has anyone done two-step or line dance classes outside of a wedding reception or a family reunion? Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, but sometimes when you would go out, that's all they would play, and they would put a line dance in there. So, but I haven't been out to like a hangout spot and I don't know when. So, has anybody else? Everyone's praying for Beverly. Beverly says, no, DD, that wasn't me. I'm full steam ahead. This is not a nice prep. I'm going to stay in the shadows tonight and just listen. Okay, okay, yes. Okay, that wasn't you. Who was that? Maybe that was the person I was referring to earlier that told me that they because they said she said we pressured her into it. I said, good, that's good pressure. um so yeah, I'm gonna check my email and see if she emailed me because I was checking on her to see if how her little um her situation went. So she didn't respond. So I'm hoping no news is good news, right? That she didn't respond to me yet. But yeah, so Beverly, I'm glad you're doing that. I love it. I absolutely love it. And you're gonna have a clean bill of health. It's gonna be all good, all good, all good. Let's see. Mindy says, DD, I'm too heavy to get on somebody's pole. I really do think that. Now, somebody else might not think so, but for me, oh no, ma'am. Now I'm feeling a little bit better, but I don't know. I still don't know if I want to do that. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, Dariam, she's saying thank you. She needs all the prayers she can get. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna come out just fine. But the prep, yeah, it is no joke. Delilah suggestion, maybe put it on your calendar to alert you. Yeah, because YouTube's not doing the best job with that, I guess. Rosin says lifting you up in prayer. Let's see. Oh, Mindy used to teach line dancing. All right, Mindy, I can see you doing that too. You're gonna be on point on that cruise with Lorraine. I can see you too now. Doing the line. You can teach that. You can teach that. Wait a minute. Yes. Now I'm so annoyed that I'm not going on this cruise because you could be teaching some line dances yourself. Jeez, Louise. My book club ladies just started classes on Saturday. We learned Boots on the Ground. Oh, yeah, I know that song, Boots on the Ground. And that's kind of like a little complicated one, I thought. Am I thinking of the right one? Because, wow, that's pretty good. I haven't done line dance classes, but I'm good at line dancing. Me too, but I haven't really done classes. Okay, DD, hot to try. Apparently, a couple of us pole dancers too, at least the ones that weren't taking the class for strictly exercise purposes, right? I know, huh? Kim J, great idea. Not get scared when the alert goes off. Hey DD, I thought I did respond, but my colonoscopy went well. Brown Velvet, hello. I didn't want to say it was you because I didn't know if you wanted me to say or not, but I don't have to do it again for 10 more years. Yes, 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 yes. Now, to my understanding, if you have a polyp and the polyp is not even if you have a polyp and it's not cancerous or anything like that, they still want you to come back every 5 years to make sure that it didn't turn into anything. They remove those, but just to make sure nothing grew back or nothing's wrong. So, but if you have a clean bill of health as far as that colonoscopy, you don't have to go back for 10 years. So that's the path I'm on. So I think I had mine before I was 45 even. And so I'll be coming up here soon. So you guys will have to pray for me too. But I knew I knew you were going to do it. I knew it was going to be fine. I'm so excited about that. Well, let's go back to her really quick and then we'll jump back. So Brown Velvet says, and yes, it was thanks to the pressure from this community. Yes, yes, yes. We love it. Good pressure, right? We love that. So I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That makes me happy. That it made my total day when you told me that. Okay, so Taisha says, used to be my favorite form of exercise. Maybe I'll pick it up again. The line dancing or the pole dancing? Mindy says, well, you can dance around that pole too. True, true, true. You can create a line dance, Mindy, around that pole. This reminded me of a Friday. Mindy says, yes, Brown Velvet, that's great. I have to go every 5 years now because my mom had HD polyps. Okay. I go next month and I'm not looking forward to it. Yes, and I think I talked about this at the beginning, saying, that's one of the things that's kind of like my mission on here is to, educate people about all things health and wellness, especially as it relates to women and our health, because a lot of times, we learn from each other, of course, but a lot of times, for some reason, doctors aren't filling us in the way they should. And I remember when I talked about this on the live, I don't know what live it was that I talked about it, but I said, and I talked about how now the recommendation is 45. And I've heard that before I was even 45. My doctor said, because, I'm African American. She's an African American gynecologist. She said, we have to get a lot of these tests that they recommend for everybody else. We have to get them a lot earlier. And so I was kind of glad she informed me of that. I had no idea. And around the time I took my colonoscopy, the recommendation came out for everybody, but it was after she had already told me, and we had mine set up that everybody needed to, it went from 50, I think, to 45. So, but like I said, same thing for mammograms. Like whatever test you need, go out and get it. Get that, get a DEXA scan to see, what is going on inside your body. I love that. I love the idea of knowing how much fat you have, visceral fat, how much muscle you have, get a mammogram, you want to know what's going on. You want to do those self-exams. And a lot of people I know who caught their, cancer in their breast cancer, found it from doing those self-exams. And so, they used to say people to do it in the shower. Now they tell you to lay on your back and do it, right? Because you have a better chance of finding something if you do it on your back. So I think that that's, cool. To get people to really do those self-exams. I think if we could get that message out, I think that's great. I also think another important test is for you to get that calcium score. That calcium score determines, and it lets you know how much calcium is built up in your arteries. And some doctors say that that's not the best predictor of if you have plaque, but to me, it's helpful, right? It's not totally going to determine. There are some other tests that you could do that are more invasive that would determine that more accurately, but it's a start, right? It's kind of like a start. And so if you could get that calcium score test, usually it's free. Your insurance doesn't even, most facilities probably won't charge you. Here, in my area, they had a campaign going on. I don't know if that's still going on, but I think that that's something that we all need to do. Like every preventative test, prevention is the way to go. Prevention, prevention, prevention. So if you could take a test that's going to prevent you from getting things down the road, that's what we need to be promoting, here. And we're, the great thing about this community is we're doing one of the best things for our health and wellness, and that's losing weight, right? Losing weight, getting that A1C, getting that blood pressure regulated. That's one of the best things we could do for our health. All right, so I went off on a tangent. Brown Velvet lit a fire under me, talking about we pressured her into going, and I love that. So we can pressure somebody into getting that mammogram or getting some other kind of preventative test. I'll take it. I will take it. We have Elaine, Real Talk with Elaine. Hey, fam. She says, just jumping in, DD. Yes, yes, yes. Jumping in. Elaine, I don't know if you heard, but this is my, actually today is my anniversary for a Delta. So this is my 32nd year anniversary. And my Sans and I were talking earlier in the group chat. I don't know if they're watching or not. But we're planning a big to-do when we get to 35. We're going to plan a trip. I said, I'm going to put something together this summer. We're going to meet and we're going to talk about where we're going to go to celebrate 35 years of sisterhood, friendship, service, all of that, right? All of that. So Elaine is my Sora. Thanks for stopping in. Kim J, Sweet Healthy Life says, yes, that's true, DD, about removing the polyps is every 5 years when not cancerous. Yes, yes, yes. Thursday is my weigh day. Decided to weigh a day before prep. I lost 4 pounds this week. I'm gonna weigh in tomorrow before I go to the hospital to see how much I lose with the prep. I won't use that. Okay. Well, that is awesome. Yeah, that prep is cleaning you out. 4 pounds down. That's a win. That's a win for sure. It's Darian is saying a win is a win. I agree with that. That would make me 40 pounds in 24 weeks. Wow. I love that. I love that. 40 pounds in 24 weeks for you this week. Very good. Very good. I love that. Very good. All right. So I'm going to skip the hellos. You guys are saying hello. Mindy, that's awesome. Boots on the ground. Rosalind is all for this dancing. Now that's a book club I love to be a part of. Mel B, love hearing that you're good at it. Last week I got winded before 4 minute song was and that's a good exercise, right? 4 minutes you got winded. Yeah, some of those line dances are exercise. I mean, they really, really are. All right, so I'm gonna skip the hellos. Let's see. I need to stop for a moment and learn that boots on the ground, says Kim. I couldn't stop singing it and dancing last night when I was chatting with my sister and daughter. Ah, oh God, I'm behind on mammogram, but I had a colonoscopy last year, 3 polyps removed. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So you need to go back in 5 years as you went last year. So you got, did you say last year, 4 more years since they found polyps, but you got to get that mammogram. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, Elaine, you got to do it. It says Kim J, I will absolutely learn boots on the ground stat. Yeah, I know I want to learn some boots on the ground. Congratulations, Bev, 4 pounds and your colonoscopy. Yes, you are doing it on 2 fronts. I love it. Happy Deltaversary, Zora. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you, thank you. Can you believe 32 years? That's a long time. Jeez, Louise. Kim J, just YouTube, boots on the ground, and it will teach you step by step. Yeah, Kim, maybe one at a time we could do that as our to end our workout. We could add that in there. Congrats, DD. Happy Deltaversary. Thank you, thank you. Oh, Mel B. Yes, I'm determined to keep at it slowly as my body gets healthier. Yes, yes, yes. All right, very good. And Rosalind said, Happy Deltaversary to you and Elaine. Well, this is I don't know what year this is for Elaine, but this for me is this is my little personal, not the whole sorority in general, but my personal my personal journey. I've been a Delta for 32 years. So I just love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is so awesome. So the takeaway for tonight is, on your journey, whatever your journey is, however you've been, maneuvering on your journey, even if you haven't been doing the best with documenting things, start now. It's never too late to start. And if you're in maintenance, document that. Document what you're doing in maintenance, because you're going to help somebody else, because eventually I'm going to be in maintenance, right? And I want to know what to do. So I love that. I love that we're all on this journey together. I am so excited for what's yet to come. I just think this is such a great community. And, let me know if you guys have a specific something in health and wellness you want me to talk about. But yeah, I think I have a good topic for next week. And yeah, I think I have a really good one. So I'm excited about it. I'm doing my little research about it. And so we're going to go back to that. But thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me too. People out there listening and people joining. Hopefully we have some new people taking the GLP-1, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic. I don't know if Saxenda people are still taking that, whether you're taking tirzepatide or semaglutide. All these tips can help you too. So hopefully you can learn from some of my mistakes and things I did not know. But I love that. I love that. So you guys line dancing is a big thing. I love that. Let's see. Beverly's saying thank you. She loves us. We love you, Bev. Elaine got her boots on the ground fan today. People are saying hello. My thoughts exactly, Dee Dee. Put your boots on Saturday. Let's get it. That may be a whole workout, child. Yes, yeah, we got to incorporate that. Rosalind, okay, when you became a Delta. Yes, that's when I became a Delta personally. Yes, yes, yes. So Rosalind, you and Mindy and Linda started it all with this line dancing. So we're going to be all learning some boots on the ground. We're going to have to come together and do the boots on the ground. Guess I need to get a fan for the cruise. Yes, you do. Beverly, enjoy that colonoscopy. Isn't that the best nap? I mean, I'm telling you, it sure is. Good luck tomorrow. You die. You did. I'm sorry. Yo, I said you died. You did the hard part. Jeez Louise, we gotta edit that on out of here. Um, Kim J says, right, Brown Velvet, great sleep for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Real talk with Elaine. I love the crack of the fan when dancing. Yes, is that the one where they go like that with the fan? Isn't now I gotta hear the boots on the ground. Jeez Louise. She said, yes, Rosa, mine is not till May 9th, 34 years, I think. Jeez Louise, 34 years. That's awesome. Yes, me too, says Linda. Okay, she says, I know, right, Elaine? All right, have a good night, all. Mindy says, have a good night, Mindy. I love that crack of the fan, too. Yes, yes, yes. Isn't that fan? Now I think I know what you're talking about. But that's okay, because me and Kim and I, we're going to be doing that on Saturday. We're gonna incorporate that. So I will say, you guys have a great night. I enjoyed you guys. I really did. This is such a great community. I appreciate you joining me. And I feel like it's a Friday night, but really it's a Wednesday night. So most of us have to get up early and go to work. So we've been on here almost 2 hours. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. And I will see you guys on Friday at 8:30. Have a great night. Bye.
Down